Hello, this is Marcus here. Today, we're going to review some of what's been happening this week in the world of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. It's important to remind you that none of what I say is advice or recommendation for you to do anything. Trading and investing in Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies has many risks. You can lose money. Let's start things off by reviewing our trading signals and see how it's been performing the last week. We started trading on the 6th of July. We added 15 cryptocurrency pairs in our portfolio, and so far we've made 119 trades. The first time that we reviewed the performance of our trading signals was on Saturday the 26th of September, which was about 3 weeks ago now, and it gained around 20% at the time, and compared to the HODL strategy, it was doing 10 times better. Last week, it's tracking for about 10%, which was 5 times more than a HODL strategy. Yesterday, Saturday the 10th of October, I've crunched the numbers and the gains are down to 7% ROI, which is just over the HODL strategy, which would have yielded 6%. A factor I think that's contributing to our gains being eaten up is because the last couple of weeks have largely been a crab market. Crab market meaning you've got the bull market when it's going up, you've got the bear market when it's going down, and crab market is when it's going sideways. This sideways market, this trading system, which follows trends, are really not good during crab markets. It's not really time to worry yet, because in the past, the market usually breaks out with enough volatility for us to gain lead or at least catch up. So, we'll just continue trading it. I'll review it again, either next week or the week after, and see how it's performing. But in the meantime, let's just have a look to see what's been happening with the market just the same. So going back to Bitcoin, shifting to the daily charts, we can see way back until February, March. March there was a low of around 4,000. From then the Bitcoin climbed upwards until about 12,500. It went through the resistance level of 10,500 and then made a U-turn around September, and this is where it's been going sideways for a bit of time. But it's been making higher lows, and it's just recently punctured through a trend line from its most recent peak back in August. The next question is, what could have happened in the last 4 days that might have triggered this? And back on the 8th of October, there was news that a Billionaire-Founded Square invests 50 million in Bitcoin, pushing shares to all-time high. So that could have done it. So when something like that happens, it just injects a lot of positivity back into the market. People reason, if a billionaire believes in Bitcoin and buys that much, then I should be in. So that sort of thinking has now entered the market, and more people are buying in now. Another interesting move to look at this week was EOS. So this is the 3-hourly charts of EOS. We bought where that red arrow is at 3.0248, and then it took about almost a month before we changed it around. We just changed that this week. We closed it at a profit. Now we're long. I just decluttered the chart here, so I removed the moving averages. I just want to focus in on this price action here at the end of the chart there, because when I saw that, I went, what's going on? It's a sudden price move, which is, when you look back at EOS, it's quite common for EOS to have these big vertical moves, which is not good for stop losses. If your stop losses are too tight, these sort of sudden price moves can catch you out. But what I did then was I narrowed it down to the hourly charts, and this is how it looks. And I drilled down to the 15-minute charts, and this is how it looks like. Within about an hour, it rose up, but then immediately in the next 2 hours, it sort of retreated about 75%. It looks like most of the spike happened within 6, 9, 12, about 20 minutes. If you're manually trading this, you wouldn't have been able to decide quickly. You can see that, on a normal market conditions, the market is just milling. But in this particular event, volume spikes, so there's a lot of buying. Then what happened was, as you can see, a lot of the buying sold. So they bought in and then they sold out later. You can look at the price spike there. And basically within a span of about 2 days, or 4 days actually, it went back to the baseline. And when the price hit where it started a few days ago, there were lots of buying then. So to find out what event this could be related to, it turns out that Google Cloud has joined the EOS blockchain network as a block producer candidate. And Block 1 says that the tech giant will eventually become an EOS network block producer. This article was written by Charlie Osborne on the 6th of October. And the software firm Block 1 says that Google Cloud's participation marks a milestone for the network and underscores the importance of blockchain to the future of business, government, and society. Block 1 is the company behind EOS. It was originally co-founded by current independent presidential candidate Brock Pierce. This snippet was found on another article written by Michael Kapelkov titled Google Cloud Joins EOS Blockchain Community. It's from the Cointelegraph. I'll post the links of these articles along with the description of this video so you can read them if you wish. And this article further goes on to say that Block 1 also announced that a former Goldman Sachs executive named R. Martin Chavez will be leading the company's advisory board. So, yeah, it's just interesting what could have happened here. I mean, someone got wind of this happening. They bought in here, and then for some reason sold them all back and then bought back in. So I think they anticipated it was going to be big news, but then realized there's no extra buying going on, so they just sold it back. And then eventually, got snapped up. Either they snapped it up themselves or new traders who are just coming onto this news later. But regardless, what we've done was after that initial spike, we waited for about a couple of days and bought in at a much more reasonable price. The next coin we'll look at is Stellar, XML. This is XML against the US dollar 3-hourly charts. About a month ago, we sold, and then we bought, and then we sold. And from there, it went through a support level 2, and then through a trend line, and just before breaking out this potential resistance, we bought in, and we closed this trade. It took almost about a month, but finally it's closed, and that was a 26% trade. Now, I haven't caught up with Stellar for a while, but here's an article that I saw. It's an interview of Denelle Dixon. She is the CEO of the Stellar Development Foundation, a non-profit organization that supports the development and growth of Stellar, an open-source blockchain network that connects the world's financial infrastructure. She was previously involved with Mozilla. She joined in 2012 as an associate general counsel, then later became its COO. She seems to be quite a champion for open source. In March 2019, she joined the Stellar Development Foundation, both as an executive director and CEO. Stellar Development Foundation is a non-profit, non-stock organization. It has no shareholders, and it's beholden only to its mission, and that's to create an equitable access to the global financial system. It was created to help maintain Stellar's code base, support the communities building on the network, and serve as a voice to regulators and institutions. She also mentions a couple of interesting partnerships. The first one she mentions is with Samsung. Samsung has integrated Stellar into their Samsung blockchain key store, which means that Stellar users can now store their private keys on certain Samsung Galaxy smartphones. And most importantly, developers can create blockchain-based apps and services for those phones. There was also a question about how cryptocurrency can meet the needs of the unbanked, especially because cryptocurrency has a steep learning curve. And she mentioned a company called Saldo. It's a Mexican company which allows migrant workers to support family members in Mexico. She says the remittance process of sending money back home is slow, difficult, and expensive. I think there's a missing set of words there. Saldo lets Mexicans working in the US send funds directly to a recipient's utility account back home in Mexico. Because Saldo issues a Mexican peso-backed token and settles on the Stellar network, senders can start the payment in US dollars and automatically convert the payment to Mexican pesos in a single, immediate, and transparent transaction. The senders and recipients don't even touch cryptocurrency. That's great. And then there was a question about the importance of open source and how it benefits projects like Mozilla and the Stellar Development Foundation. And she says that open source projects like Stellar allows for limitless growth and creativity and exceed all other models for building, particularly for building networks. The hallmark of a true open source project is documentation. It allows others to build and improve upon Stellar. Open source are transparent, which allows for clear communication to the community, and it means we can be held, or we are held, accountable to our mission and our direction. She says transparency builds trust while holding us accountable to both say what we're doing and to do what we're saying. She believes open source is so beneficial in that it relies on collaboration from many to achieve success. Open source is diverse. It creates diversity of thought, background, and culture. It allows the best minds from all over the world to share ideas and improve the work that's being done. It helps ensure that the solution can truly be global and innovative. So you can have a read of this interview if you're interested. I'll link it to the description of this video. This is it for me this week. I know we haven't really covered all of the projects we're following, but I'm going to try and update you regularly using videos like this, and we'll have enough time to go over each project or each coin that we are following. So visit me at marcuscomellup.com, bookmark it, visit often, share what you find interesting, and have a great day. Thank you.